Beloved soul, I call you by your innermost name, not to condemn but to awaken you. All these days I have been trying to reach you in many ways, through the whisper of wind slipping between the leaves, through the thunder that roared across a stormy night, through the sudden stillness in moments you thought were ordinary. Yet your heart has been too busy. The noise of the world, the sweet but empty words, the hands waving to lure you along, all these have distracted you until you no longer recognize the call from the holy realm. You thought those smiles were genuine, that the paths opening before your eyes were roads of peace, but in truth, many of them are only cloaked in false appearances. They wear the form of goodness, but conceal hidden schemes. As Scripture has said, wolves in sheep's clothing, Matthew 7:1-5. Do you see? Not every sweetness comes from true love, and not every path leads to life. That is why I draw near to you today, urging you earnestly awaken, and behold, the truth for time is passing more swiftly than you imagine. My child, do you sense the unrest within your heart? That stirring is not random, nor is it merely groundless anxiety. It is the cry of your soul, longing to break free from confusion. For so long you have walked in promises that sound sweet, but lack foundation, trusting in voices, artfully adorned, yet void of truth. That is why your heart has become increasingly unsettled. This is not your weakness, it is a warning from within. Scripture declares, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." John 8:3-2. Do you see? That very restlessness reveals that your soul was never meant to accept darkness as destiny, but was created to seek the light. Chains may feel as soft as silk, yet they are still chains. Lies may taste as sweet as honey, but in the end they remain poisonous. The more your mind drifts with what is false, the more you forget the true flavor of freedom. But the moment you courageously admit your longing for truth, the veil begins to fall, and light will break forth. My child, do not think you have been abandoned. Even when you feel alone, even when no one around seems to understand, you are still seen, still loved, still protected. Those who seek to bind you know the hidden worth within you. They know you carry a purpose beyond what human eyes can see. They understand that the breath within you is proof of a divine plan written long ago. That is why they constantly try to blur your vision, so that you see only the gilded cage before you and forget the vast sky beyond. Yet you have never truly been forsaken. Even in the darkest nights, there is a hand reaching out to hold you. The question is, will you take it? Will you have the courage to turn away from illusions and look toward the true source of light? I know it is not easy. I know truth often does not come in a pleasant form, and it may shake what you once relied on, but truth does not come to destroy you. It comes to set you free, to heal you, and to place you where you were always meant to be. As it is written in Psalm 2:7-1, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?" That light not only illuminates, but also shelters, strengthens, and gives courage. You need only take the first step, and the rest will be guided. Remember, the battle you face is not merely conflicts between people. Behind every lie, every betrayal, every enticing trap, there are powers that have long existed, resisting the fulfillment of the divine will. They tremble at the light planted within you, for if you awaken, you will not only set yourself free, but also lead many other souls into the light. That is why they fight so fiercely to keep you in darkness. But do not tremble. The enemy may be strong, but I am infinitely stronger. Darkness may be thick, but light is boundless. When you dare to face it, when you dare to step out, the fog will vanish. I stand here still fighting for you, still calling your name. Beloved soul, open your eyes, dare to rise and walk. You were not born to live forever in deception. You were not created to be a prisoner. You were fashioned to stand tall, to shine, to walk in the light that has always belonged to you from the very beginning. Beloved soul, I know you have often asked yourself, if there truly is an invisible battle, why can I not see it? Why do my eyes see only ordinary people, seemingly sincere advice, or situations that appear random? You have not yet realized that. The greatest danger is not when darkness is obvious, but when it disguises itself in the appearance of light. That is what causes many to stumble. Humans often fear what is blatant, but are easily seduced by what seems beautiful, safe, and peaceful. And this is precisely how the enemy ensnares you. He does not bind quickly, but patiently weaves a net, soft, subtle, delicate, until you believe you are still free, only to realize too late that you are trapped. Do you remember Paul's words in 2 Corinthians 1:1-4? Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. If he can cloak himself in the garment of light, how can you recognize him with natural sight? You need a different set of eyes, the eyes of faith, eyes that discern by the Spirit and not by appearance alone. You have gone through moments of doubt when you felt abandoned, when it seemed there was no one by your side. In those moments, the enemy whispered into your ear that you were utterly alone, that your prayers dissolved into nothingness, that the divine presence was no longer with you. He sowed seeds of doubt, and you began to wonder, perhaps I must truly fend for myself, perhaps I have been forsaken. But I assure you that is nothing but a lie. You have never been abandoned. I have never left you, no matter how you feel. It was I who promised I will never leave you, nor forsake you. Hebrews 1:3-5. Those lies only seek to make you forget this truth, to let your heart wither. But even when you are weak, even when you collapse, the holy hand still reaches to lift you up. Truth does not depend on fleeting emotions. Truth is a solid foundation, unchanging forever. What I want you to understand is that this battle is not against flesh and blood. The ones who smile at you, the ones who appear to oppose you, they are not the real enemy. Scripture has made it clear, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in heavenly places. Ephesians 6:1-2. Do you see? The real conflict takes place on a plane your eyes cannot see, but your soul perceives it. The unrest, the heaviness in your spirit, these are signs that a struggle is unfolding. And if you close your eyes, if you settle for the comfort of illusions, you will let your soul be led away without even knowing it. But if you face it with courage, if you dare to admit your need for truth, the light will begin to break in. Light does not merely drive away darkness, it exposes the lies you once mistook for reality. That unveiling may be painful, because you will see that what you trusted was but a shadow, yet it is precisely that exposure which brings freedom. My child, open your heart to this call. I do not promise the path will be easy. I will not conceal that once you begin to awaken, darkness will react more fiercely than ever. It will not easily lose one it has worked so hard to hold. It will whisper that you are delusional. It will use even those closest to you to keep you within a false sense of safety. It will persuade you that truth is too harsh, that though darkness is sad, it is somehow more bearable than the piercing light. But you must not listen. You must move forward step by step, even if trembling. Even if your eyes are still dimmed by mist, even if your heart hesitates. For the moment you take even the smallest step, all of heaven will move to clear the way. You are not alone. You are not fighting by yourself. For generations there have been unseen warriors battling beside you, guarding you from dangers you never knew. And even in this very moment I stand near, calling you to take my hand, to walk with me out of the fog of deception. Beloved soul, believe this light always triumphs over darkness. Precious soul, now you stand at a crossroads of destiny. For years you have grown accustomed to repetitive steps, believing life to be nothing more than a string of days filled with trivial comforts. You thought you were wrapped in peace, but in reality, it was only a fabricated safety, crafted to keep you confined in a clever cage. This moment I come to tell you that truth is knocking at the door. It calls you to rise and choose, either remain in the darkness, familiar yet binding, or step out, not knowing where the path will lead, yet certain it will lead you into true freedom. Do not think this choice affects only you. No, my child, your awakening carries the power to transform others as well. When a candle is lit, it does not shine only for itself, it illuminates the whole room. In the same way, when your eyes are opened, the light within you will become a beacon of hope for wandering souls. That is why the enemy wants to keep you asleep. If you awaken, his chains will be broken not only over your life, but over many others too. My child, reflect on this. Why is the battle within you so fierce? Why do you feel torn in two at times, yearning for truth, yet at other times longing to return to the safety of the familiar? It is because you are no ordinary soul. You carry within you a mission inscribed since the beginning of creation. You were fashioned to reflect the image of the Creator, to be a living witness of the light. That is why the forces of darkness tremble before you. They know that if you rise, if you find the truth, if you dare to step out, the fire within you will blaze forth and spread, consuming the web of lies they have so carefully built. That is why they bind you with chains that feel soft, sweet, harmless. But do not be deceived. Chains are still chains even when wrapped in silk. Lies are still lies even when mixed with honey. Remember the promise in Isaiah 4:3-1. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. You do not belong to darkness. You belong to the light, and your true identity can never be stolen. I know this step will not be easy. The moment you incline your heart toward the light, darkness will resist more violently than ever. It will stir old memories, old wounds, past failures that once made you falter. It will try to convince you that you are not strong enough to go on, that you will fall again, that you are unworthy of truth. It will use even those you love most to keep you within false comfort. It will whisper that you are dreaming, that you are naive, that you are foolish for believing the call within, but do not listen. This is only the enemy's final attempt to keep you caged. Remember, even if your heart trembles, even if your eyes cannot yet see clearly, once you take even the smallest step, heaven itself will move to make a way for you. You never fight alone. For ages, hosts of the unseen have battled on your behalf, shielding you from perils unknown. And right now I stand here, my hand extended, ready for you to take it, so we may walk together on the path of freedom. You may choose to stay, to shut your eyes, to pretend you do not hear the call. You may continue to live in the darkness so familiar that you no longer notice the chains. But my child, you will pay the price with the very freedom of your soul. One day you will awaken in regret, realizing you let slip the chance to be set free. Or you can choose to rise, even if trembling, even if uncertain, even if the road ahead is unseen. Step out. For truth may wound you for a moment, but it will heal you forever. Lies may comfort you for a fleeting instant, but in the end, they will destroy your soul. So what will you choose, beloved soul? Will you remain in sweet captivity, or will you courageously step out and live in the light? You have gone through moments of doubt, when you felt abandoned, when it seemed that no one was by your side. In those times, the enemy whispered into your ear that you were utterly alone, that your prayers vanished into the void, that the divine presence was no longer with you. He planted seeds of doubt, and you began to wonder, perhaps I must truly fend for myself, perhaps I have been forsaken. But I assure you, that is a lie. You have never been abandoned. I have never left you, no matter how you may feel. For I have promised I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 1:3-5. Those lies only seek to make you forget that truth, to cause your heart to wither. But even when you are weak, even when you collapse, the holy hand still reaches out to lift you up. Truth does not rest upon fleeting emotions. Truth is a solid foundation, unchanging forever. What I want you to understand is that this battle is not against flesh and blood. The ones who smile at you, the ones who appear to oppose you, they are not the true enemy. Scripture has declared, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in heavenly places." Ephesians 6:1-2. Do you see? The real conflict unfolds on a plane your eyes cannot see, yet your soul perceives it. The restlessness, the heaviness within your spirit, these are signs that a struggle is taking place. And if you close your eyes, if you yield to the comfort of illusions, your soul will be led astray without you even knowing. But if you face it with courage, if you dare to confess your need for truth, then the light will begin to break through. Light not only drives away darkness, it exposes the lies you once believed to be true. That unveiling may be painful for you. Will see that what you trusted was only a shadow. Yet it is precisely this exposure that brings freedom. My child, let your heart open to this call. I do not promise that the road will be easy. I do not hide from you that once you begin to awaken, darkness will react more fiercely than ever. It will not easily release the one it has held for so long. It will whisper that you are deluded. It will even use those closest to you to keep you within a false comfort. It will try to make you believe that truth is too severe, that though darkness is sorrowful, it is easier to bear than the brilliance of light. But you must not listen. You must go forward step by step, even if trembling, even if your eyes are still veiled with mist, even if your heart is hesitant. For once you take even the smallest step, all of heaven will move to open the way. You are not alone. You are not fighting by yourself. For generations, unseen warriors have fought beside you, shielding you from dangers you never knew. And even now, in this very moment, I stand near, calling you to take my hand, that I may walk with you out of the fog of deception. Beloved soul, believe. This light always triumphs over darkness. Precious soul, now you stand at a crucial crossroads of destiny. For years you have grown accustomed to repetitive steps, believing that life was nothing more than a cycle of days filled with small comforts. You thought you were wrapped in peace, but in truth it was only a false security carefully crafted to keep you confined in a subtle cage. At this moment I come to tell you that truth is knocking at the door. It calls you to rise and choose. Either remain in darkness, familiar yet binding, or step out, not knowing where the road will lead, but certain it will bring you into true freedom. Do not think this choice affects only you. No, my child, your awakening carries the power to transform others as well. When a candle is lit, it does not shine for itself alone, it illuminates the whole room. In the same way, when your eyes are opened, the light within you becomes a ray of hope for souls still groping in the dark. That is why the enemy longs to keep you asleep. If you awaken, his chains will be broken not only over your life, but over many others too. My child, reflect on this. Why is the battle within you so fierce? Why do you feel pulled in two directions at times, longing for truth at other times, wishing to return to the safety of the familiar? It is because you are no ordinary soul. You carry within you a mission, inscribed since the dawn of creation. You were fashioned to reflect the image of the Creator, to be a living witness of the light. That is why the forces of darkness tremble before you. They know that if you rise, if you discover the truth, if you dare to step out, the fire within you will blaze forth and spread, consuming the lies they so carefully wove. That is why they bind you with chains that seem soft, sweet, and harmless. But do not be deceived. Chains are still chains, even when wrapped in silk. Lies are still lies, even when mingled with honey. Remember the promise in Isaiah 4:3-1. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. You do not belong to darkness. You belong to the light, and your true identity can never be taken from you. I know this step will not be easy. The moment you incline your heart toward the light, darkness will resist more fiercely than ever. It will stir up old memories, old wounds, past failures that once made you falter. It will seek to convince you that you are not strong enough to continue, that you will fall again, that you are unworthy of truth. It will use even those you love most to hold you in false comfort. It will whisper that you are dreaming, that you are naive, that you are foolish for trusting the call within. But my child, do not listen. This is only the enemy's final attempt to keep you caged. Remember, even when your heart trembles, even when your eyes cannot yet see clearly, once you take even the smallest step, heaven itself will move to make a way for you. You will never fight alone. From ages past, hosts of the unseen have battled for you, shielding you from dangers you never knew. And even now I stand here, my hand extended, ready for you to take it, that I may walk with you on the path of freedom. You may choose to remain, to close your eyes, to pretend you do not hear the call. You may continue living in the darkness where everything has become so familiar that you no longer notice the chains. But my child, you will pay the price with the very freedom of your soul. One day you will awaken in regret, realizing that you missed the opportunity to be set free. Or you may choose to rise. Even trembling, even hesitant, even uncertain of the road ahead, step forward. For truth may wound you for a moment, but it will heal you forever. Lies may comfort you for an instant, but in the end, they will destroy your soul. So what will you choose, beloved soul? Will you remain in sweet captivity, or will you courageously step out to live in the light? Do not forget that every step you take is observed by heaven. Angels surround you, ready to fight at your side. Prayers are being lifted up for you, even when you are unaware. And in this very moment I stand here not only to warn you, but to encourage you. You can rise. You can break the chains. You can walk into the truth. The issue is not how strong the darkness is, but whether you are willing to open your eyes to see the light. Scripture has promised, if God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:3-1. Do you see, darkness may be vast, but it will never be greater than the one who created the universe. And if he is with you, what do you fear? Listen to this call. Do not let hesitation steal away the moment. Do not let fear delay your steps. Now is the time for you to choose to remain in chains or to step out into the light. Remember, truth does not promise an easy path, but it surely promises freedom. And that freedom is worth more than anything you could trade for it. Rise up, take the hand extended to you, and walk. All of heaven is waiting for this moment when your soul decides to awaken. Do you know why so many fail in their spiritual journey? It is not because they lacked faith at the beginning, nor because they never heard the call from heaven. The chief reason is that the deception of darkness never comes in a terrifying form that people fear. It always disguises itself in a gentle covering that makes people feel secure. It does not rush to steal away faith, but slowly lulls people into complacency, gradually drawing them away from truth. It whispers half-truths, planting just enough doubt to shake the heart, but not so obvious as to be exposed at once. Do you see how subtle this scheme is? Without vigilance, you can easily mistake its whisper for the encouragement of truth. That is why Jesus warned, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. Matthew 7:1-5. When someone comes clothed in kindness, you will struggle to discern unless you have the clear eyes of the Spirit. Remember the times you have been unsettled. There were hands extended, seeming to lift you up, but they caused you to stumble. There were gentle words sounding like counsel, but in truth, they made you doubt the light within. There were roads that appeared to be strewn with flowers, yet a few miles further they led to a pit. These were the things that caused you to waver, and often you asked yourself, perhaps I am no longer protected. But I tell you, do not be discouraged. You have never been left to fate. Every time you nearly fell, it was I who intervened to prevent the worst outcome. You may have thought you were simply lucky to escape, but in reality, it was divine intervention. Not a single moment have you walked without his footprints beside you. Lies only make you forget this, causing you to focus on failure instead of recognizing the protection that remained. My child, you must understand the enemy does not need to attack openly to win. All he needs is to plant one small seed of doubt in your heart. Just a little is enough to crack the foundation of faith, and from that crack the wall can collapse. You have heard the story of Eve in the garden. The serpent did not come with a sword or spear to force her. It only asked a question. Did God really say? Genesis 3:1. Just one small doubt, but it opened the door to the fall. In the same way, the enemy whispers to you, are you truly loved? Have you truly not been forsaken? Do you truly have a higher destiny? And if you are not alert, you will begin to repeat those questions to yourself until gradually you lean toward the darkness. That is his strategy, not by overwhelming force, but by cunning that erodes trust. But you do not need to fear, for I, the Creator, have already prepared the armor you need to resist. You are not left to fight deception with your limited wisdom. I have given you my word as a sharp sword, the breastplate of righteousness to guard your heart, the helmet of salvation to protect your thoughts, and the shield of faith to quench every flaming arrow of the evil one. Ephesians 6:13-17. When you take up this armor, you will not only stand firm, you will move forward. Darkness prevails only when you remain passive. But when you choose to resist with light, darkness will flee. Do not forget this power has already been placed in your hands. You need only choose to rise and use it. You must also learn the wisdom of silence. Not everything you see must be spoken. Not everything burning in your heart must be shared. Some things must be guarded until the appointed time. Remember the story of Joseph. I gave him great dreams, but because he spoke too soon, he faced jealousy and betrayal from his own brothers. Though my purpose was fulfilled in the end, the road became far more painful. If you learn this lesson, you will know how to guard the vision in quiet, letting its roots sink deep until the right moment when it will rise with strength. Silence in waiting is not weakness, it is wisdom. It shields you from the enemy's arrows before you are strong enough to withstand them. Therefore, my child, learn to discern between what is true and what is false. Do not chase after outward sweetness. Look instead to the source within. Do not listen only with your ears, but with your spirit. If something draws you away from the light, if it makes you doubt my love, then it never comes from me. On the other hand, if a word of correction brings you back to truth, even if it is hard to hear at first, that is the voice of heaven. Learn to discern, for this age is filled with many conflicting voices. But if you keep your heart anchored in truth, if you anchor your faith in the one who has called you, then no lie will be able to deceive you for long. Precious soul, after all the warnings, the most important matter still lies in your own choice. I cannot decide for you. Angels cannot force you to walk. Even I, with all power, have given you free will to choose. That is why you now stand at the crossroads of destiny, one road familiar with false safety, yet full of chains, and another road unknown at times, fearful, but leading to truth and freedom. I call you to pause and consider. If you choose to remain in the darkness, things may seem calm for a time, but that calm will turn to withering. Your spirit will grow barren, and sooner or later you will realize you have lost the most precious gift. But if you choose to step out, even trembling, you will enter the journey of restoration, where every chain will be broken and every shadow driven away. You will not only find yourself again, but also open the way for many others to discover life. Remember, the Creator does not call you to walk alone. I am not standing far away as a spectator, but I have promised to walk with you. I have spoken, I will go before you and will level the mountains. I will break down gates of bronze and cut through bars of iron, Isaiah 4:5-2. That promise is not distant, but waiting to be fulfilled in your life. When you choose to step forward, you will see closed doors open, rough paths made smooth. My intervention is not abstract comfort, but concrete action. I will remove the obstacles that block you. I will open the paths that seem not to exist. But I do this only when you choose to trust and walk. If you remain standing still, hesitant, afraid, you will never know how great my faithfulness truly island. I know the struggle within you is not small. There is a part of you that longs to break free from the darkness, but another part hesitates, unaccustomed to the light. Light will expose what you once hid, and you fear you may not be strong enough to face it. But remember, light does not come to condemn you, but to heal you. Truth does not come to shame you, but to set you free. You are like one who has lived too long in a cave. When you first step outside, the light will dazzle and overwhelm your eyes, but if you endure, your vision will adjust, and you will see a world more radiant than ever before. So it is with truth. At first it may overwhelm, but soon it will bring you into a freedom you have never known. This is why Jesus declared, "I have come, that they may have life and have it more abundantly." John 10:10. That promise is not for someone else, but for you, beloved soul who longs for freedom. Delay is also a choice. Many do not reject the light outright, but they say, "Later, when I am more ready, when circumstances are better." Yet that very delay is the trap. For being more ready is an illusion planted by the enemy to keep you bound. Each day you postpone, the chains remain. Each day you hesitate, the darkness still holds sway over your soul. My child, the time is now. Not tomorrow, not when you think you are strong enough, but here and now, in weakness, in trembling, in the fragile courage just beginning to rise. This is the moment when divine intervention shines most clearly. As it is written in Psalm 3:4-1-8, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." When you feel weakest, that is when I am nearest, ready to lead you out of the shadows. So what will you choose, beloved soul? Will you continue to heed the deceptive whispers, to accept the false safety? Or will you rise, take hold of the hand reaching down from heaven, and walk? I tell you this, not in anger, nor to condemn, but in love. You are precious, you are chosen, you are not forgotten. Yet you have been deceived, and you need not remain so. You can be set free. You can walk in the light. You can become a flame that guides others. Everything depends on your decision today. Beloved soul, I want you to pause and remember the stories of those who came before. Generations began with fire burning in their hearts, with deep conviction that they would walk the path appointed. But along the way, they were drawn into illusions, enticed by empty promises, and the fire that once blazed brightly within them slowly faded. They thought they could walk in the light while still holding on to the darkness, that they could speak of faithfulness while still keeping idols in their hearts. They convinced themselves that a little compromise would do no harm. But the truth is, even the smallest compromise becomes the opening through which darkness enters. And so the sacred flame was not quenched by a raging storm, but by drops of water falling day after day, hour by hour. My child, I remind you of this not to make you judge them, but that you might learn from their missteps and not repeat the road that leads to regret. Remember the people of Israel in the wilderness. They had witnessed mighty wonders. The Red Sea parted, bread rained down from heaven, water sprang forth from the rock. With their own eyes they saw the undeniable power of the Most High. And yet only a short time later they forgot and turned to worship a golden calf made by their own hands. How could a nation that had experienced such miraculous deliverance so quickly forsake the one who saved them? Because they let their hearts run after what they saw before their eyes, rather than remembering what had been revealed within. Darkness did not need to convince them that I was not real. It only needed to stir doubt, to breed discouragement, to make them desire something more tangible. And so they traded the holy presence for a counterfeit idol. What was the result? They wandered 40 years in the desert until a new generation was raised up to enter the promised land. Do you see, forgetfulness and compromise can cause an entire generation to miss its golden opportunity. This is the danger you now face. You have had moments when you glimpsed the truth, when light shone into your soul, but the enemy always seeks to make you forget. He does not need to drag you out of the light immediately. He only needs to slow you down, to pull you back little by little. He makes you compromise by saying, "Just this once will do no harm." He persuades you to keep fragments of darkness in your heart, and from those fragments he rebuilds a wall of separation. Do not think yourself wise enough to manage compromise, for no one can hold fire in their hands and not be burned. No one can walk on hot coals and not be blistered. The longer you delay, the more you indulge, the stronger darkness becomes, and at last it will consume your soul, making you a wanderer like those who once walked in light but now live only in the shadow of memory. Yet, my child, you still have an opportunity. This call goes forth today, so that you may stop before it is too late. Do not think of yourself as invincible. Do not think you can walk through every snare alone. You need protection, guidance, and preservation. Scripture says, "So if you think you are standing firm, be careful that you don't fall." 1 Corinthians 1:0-1-2. Do you see? Overconfidence is the most dangerous trap. The moment you believe you cannot fall, that is when you are closest to stumbling. Therefore, walk in watchfulness and humility. Keep your heart tender to heed the warning. Guard every thought, every decision, for darkness does not appear in obvious form, but hides in choices that seem harmless each day. Beloved soul, do not repeat the mistakes of those who came before. Do not let the flame within you turn to ashes. Keep it burning though the wind blows, though the rain falls, for that flame is the testimony that you belong to the light. Beloved soul, look closely at what is happening around you to understand what I say. Many began with hearts aflame, singing songs of faith, vowing to walk in the light until the end. Yet today, as you look back, you see they are but shadows of who they once were. Why did the fire that once blazed fade away? Why has yesterday's fervor cooled into ashes? Because they thought they could divide their hearts, part for me, part for the world. But the heart was never made to be divided. Once it is no longer whole, the light begins to depart, and darkness quietly takes its place. They did not notice it at first, for deception always enters subtly, little by little, until it is too late. I want you to realize, straying does not happen overnight, but through every small choice, every compromise you allow, every warning you ignore. Each time they chose comfort over truth, each time they put self-interest above righteousness, they unknowingly gave darkness more ground. A seed of doubt, if not uprooted, grows roots and becomes a thicket of thorns that strangle the soul. A lie, if repeated and believed, becomes a chain of bondage. That is why Scripture warns, watch and pray that you may not fall into temptation. Matthew 2:6-4-1. For the enemy does not need to strike with force to draw someone away from the light. He only needs them to drop their guard, and little by little they drift off course. Remember those who wandered in the wilderness of the Spirit. They were not lacking in desire, but they lacked obedience. They thought they could return whenever they wished, that their straying was only temporary, but they did not realize that the longer it lasted, the thicker the chains grew, the stronger the darkness became. A person bound by addiction cannot simply say, "Tomorrow I will stop and be free." In the same way, a soul that has surrendered to deception cannot easily return at will. This is why Scripture reminds today, if you hear His voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:1-5. Today is the day of decision. Today is the chance to turn back. Tomorrow is only an excuse for delay, and delay is the sweetest snare of all. My child, the sorrow is not only that these ones lost themselves, but that they became a stumbling testimony to others. When seekers of truth look upon them and see only dryness, weariness, and emptiness, they may conclude that light is not real, that faith is but illusion. And so they too hesitate, they too turn away, they too are lost. When a flame goes out, it not only loses its own light, but allows the darkness to spread further. This is why the enemy never ceases to try to extinguish the flame in every soul. He knows that if one lamp is hidden, the whole room will be engulfed in shadow. But my child, I also want you to remember, the opposite is true. When one flame ignites, it can light many others. If one person stands firm, many others will be guided. This is why your life does not affect you alone, but also those who are watching, those who follow, those who look to you for a spark of hope. You were not created to become a sorrowful warning, a reminder of failure. You were made to be a testimony of faithfulness, a witness that light always triumphs over darkness. You can become one who lifts others up instead of dragging them down. You can be a shining lamp rather than a fading ember. But it all begins with your decision not to repeat the mistakes of those who came before. Be watchful, guard your heart, let truth take deep root, and keep the fire within you burning bright. Do not let it be extinguished by the slow drip of compromise. Do not let it be smothered by the winds of doubt. Protect it, for that flame not only sustains your own life, but also illuminates the way for many others. Precious soul, never repeat the mistakes of those who strayed. They did not begin with the intent to betray, but step by step they drifted from the light, and by the time they realized it, it was too late. Do not wait until loss forces you to seek a way back. Do not wait until the ashes are cold to remember the fire you once had. Time does not wait, and the enemy never sleeps. He is always watching, always patient, always waiting for the moment you grow careless so that he may slip in. That is why today's warning is not meant to frighten, but to save you from tomorrow's regret. Look at the tears of those who realized too late. They longed to return, but many doors had already closed. Do not let that become your story. Understand this: faithfulness is not measured by bursts of early zeal, but by perseverance to the very end. Many begin with loud declarations, but only a few endure to the finish. As Scripture says, the one who endures to the end will be saved, Matthew 2:4-1-3. Not all who enter the race will receive the crown, but only those who refuse to quit, who do not turn back midway. Decide in your heart that no matter the storms that rise, no matter the darkness that surrounds, no matter the whispers of the enemy, you will not be shaken. You do not need to be perfect, but you must be faithful. I do not seek flawlessness in you. I seek a heart that will not run when trials come. Every choice you make today shapes your future. If you choose to compromise, you will drift further away. If you choose faithfulness, you will draw nearer to the light. There is no place for neutrality. Silence itself is a decision. Delay itself is a decision. And every decision leads to a different end. You may choose the easy road, only to face the bitter fruit of regret. Or you may choose the harder road at first, but receive the eternal reward. That is why I remind you again and again, do not let your precious years slip away wasted. Do not let your life end as an unfinished song. Rise, walk in courage, and determine in your heart that you will not repeat the mistakes against which you have been warned. Faithfulness will always be rewarded. I do not overlook your labor. I see every tear you have shed, every step you have fought to take, every time you resisted compromise. I remember it all. As it is written in Hebrews 6:10, "For God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people and continue to help them." Do you see? Not a single act done in the light is meaningless. Even if the world does not recognize it, even if others despise it. Heaven records every deed. And on the appointed day I will place the crown of life upon the heads of the faithful. Beloved soul, your battle is not in vain. Your perseverance through trials will never be wasted. Everything you do in faithfulness carries eternal weight. Therefore I say again, be watchful. Guard your heart from compromise. Learn from the failures of those who came before but do not walk in their footsteps. You were not born to be an example of defeat. You were born to be a witness of victory. You were not destined to fade into a shadow. You were fashioned to shine as a lamp. And if today you choose to rise, if today you choose faithfulness, darkness will tremble, for it knows it cannot stop the light from spreading. Do not fear, precious soul. You have been called, chosen, and sealed with an unchanging love. So step forward and decide you will not repeat the mistakes of those who strayed. You will endure to the end, and you will see the great reward prepared for the victorious. Beloved soul, I want you to know that watchfulness is not a momentary call, but a way of life that must be sustained each day. Many think that waking up once is enough, that everything will remain steady thereafter. But in reality, vigilance is a continual journey where every day you must open your eyes, your ears, and your heart to discern truth from falsehood. For darkness never ceases its attempts to return. It does not give up simply because you once broke free. On the contrary, it waits patiently, seeking the smallest chance to regain entry. That is why Jesus said to his disciples, "Watch and pray," Matthew 2:6-4:1, not once but continually without ceasing. Vigilance is like a watchman at the city gate. A single moment of carelessness, and the enemy slips in, the consequences immeasurable. My child, wakefulness is needed not only to keep you safe, but also to prepare you for greater things. The Creator has not called you merely to survive. He has called you to live abundantly, to become an instrument of light, to bring life to others. But how can you carry such a mission if you are not watchful? If you let your heart fall asleep, you will easily be distracted by trivial things, and you will miss the turning points that matter most. I want you to understand that watchfulness does not rob you of joy. On the contrary, it enables you to enjoy true joy, for joy can only be found in truth. Darkness may promise fleeting pleasures, but it leaves behind bitterness. Light may require you to surrender, to be patient, but in the end it gives you peace beyond compare. As Jesus said, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives," John 1:4-7. My child, watchfulness is also how you build a hedge of protection around your heart. Each day countless voices speak, countless images appear, countless invitations call out from every side. Not all of them are good. Not all of them come from the light. If you are not watchful, you will open the door to things that should not enter. But when you are watchful, you will discern what nourishes your soul and what drains it, what comes from love and what comes from deception. Watchfulness keeps you from being swept into illusions. It is like a compass that guides you across the wide ocean where winds and waves could otherwise carry you astray. And remember, your compass is my word, the word of the Creator. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. If you remain watchful to listen to that word, you will not fear losing your way even in the darkest of nights. Watchfulness is also like tending a garden. If you neglect it, weeds will grow, choking out the good plants, and soon the whole garden will become desolate. But if you faithfully pull out the thorns, water it, and nourish it, you will see it bloom and bear fruit. So it is with your soul. If you allow compromise, lies, and doubt to take root, they will spread quickly. But if you are watchful, guarding and tending every thought and emotion, your soul will become good soil, ready to yield an abundant harvest. Jesus spoke of the sower seed that fell on good soil, produced 30, 60, and 100-fold. Mark 4:20. Do you want your life to be good soil? If so, you must be watchful and guard the garden of your soul each day. Do not forget, watchfulness does not mean living in fear, but in wisdom. It is not an obsession that sees danger everywhere, but an alert awareness that you are in a battle and victory comes only when you stand firm. Watchfulness does not rob you of peace. It gives you a deeper kind of peace, for you know you are not caught off guard by the schemes of darkness. When you are watchful, you are not easily swayed by passing temptations. When you are watchful, you know when to stop before your steps stray off course. And when you are watchful, you become an example for others to follow. They will see in you clarity, steadfastness, and they will long for it themselves. Thus, your watchfulness not only guards your own life, but extends protection to those around you. Do not let your heart slumber in false comfort. Do not let your eyes be covered by sweet illusions. Do not let your ears listen only to pleasant words while ignoring the warnings. Be watchful, for in watchfulness you will find strength, protection, and the path to true freedom. This is the moment for you to enter a new life, not bound by deception but led by truth. Beloved soul, watchfulness is not revealed only in words but in every action, every choice, every way you live each day. One may say they are watchful, but if compromise still rules their life, it is only a dream clothed in pretense. On the other hand, one who is truly watchful does not need to proclaim it. The light in their eyes, the firmness of their steps, and the peace in their heart bear witness. Do you know how to recognize true watchfulness? It is when your heart is no longer easily carried away by illusions, when you know how to stop before sweet temptations, and when you learn to listen to the still voice in silence rather than chasing the noise of the world. My child, the difference between one who is watchful and one who is asleep is greater than you think. The one asleep may imagine themselves safe, but in truth, they are slowly being consumed without realizing it. They think all is well, that they are still in control of life, but deep within their soul they have lost their sensitivity. In contrast, the watchful one knows they are in a battle and does not grow careless. They understand that each new day requires wisdom, prayer, and vigilance. They are not always strong, but they are humble enough to depend on me, the one who gives them strength. That humility makes them steadfast, while blind pride causes others to fall. Remember the words of Proverbs 1:6, 1:8. Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. The watchful one does not put their trust in themselves, but in the Most High. My child, watchfulness is also revealed in how you use your time. The one who sleeps squanders time on worthless pursuits, letting days and months pass without sowing anything of true value. But the one who is watchful knows that every moment is precious, and they use it to cultivate the soul, to encourage others to build what carries eternal worth. The one who sleeps cares only for fleeting pleasures, but the watchful one sets their eyes on the eternal reward. This difference in perspective determines the final outcome. The sleeper will reach the end with empty hands, but the watchful one will arrive with arms full of fruit placed into my hands, the hands of the one who has called them. Understand that watchfulness is not a static state, but a living journey. It is like a fire that must be continually fueled. If you neglect it, the flame will fade. If you tend it, it will burn brighter. That is why prayer, studying my word, and walking in obedience are not burdens, but fuel for the fire of vigilance. The watchful know they need strength from above every day. They do not let their souls starve, but feed them with truth. They know watchfulness cannot be sustained by human willpower, but only by the power of the Holy Spirit. I call you to choose to live in true watchfulness. Do not be merely a hearer without being a doer. Do not let watchfulness be a passing feeling quickly forgotten when you return to daily life. Let it permeate every word, every thought, every action. When you live this way, others will see and be encouraged. You will become a lamp set on a hill that cannot be hidden. You will become a trumpet blast that awakens those still asleep. And your very life will stand as undeniable proof that light is stronger than darkness. Precious soul, watchfulness not only keeps you from snares, but opens to you a treasure beyond price, the abundant life I prepared from the beginning. The sleeper may live as though safe, but they miss the blessings set aside for them. They are like those who stand outside the wedding feast, hearing the joy inside, but unable to enter, because they did not keep their lamps ready. Do you remember the parable of the 10 virgins? 5 were wise and kept oil for their lamps, while 5 were foolish and let theirs go out. And when the bridegroom arrived, the door was shut, and those who were not watchful stood outside, knocking in desperation. Matthew 2:5-1-13. My child, this is not just an old story. It is a warning for this very age. Those who are watchful will enter into joy, but those who sleep will miss the most crucial moment. The watchful are promised an eternal reward. They will not only be delivered from darkness, but will be clothed in new glory. They will see the promises fulfilled. They will hear the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful. With a few things I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." Matthew 2:5-3. Do you see? The watchfulness of today, the quiet sacrifices, the difficult choices will not be forgotten. They will be honored richly. By contrast, the sleeper, the compromiser, the negligent will have nothing to present on that day but empty hands. They may excuse themselves in many ways, but nothing will cover the truth that they let darkness steal their opportunity. I want you to know that watchfulness also brings deep peace even now. The watchful do not escape trials, but they carry a rest within because they know they walk the right path. They may be opposed, mocked, or isolated, but they are not shaken, for their souls are anchored in truth. They are like trees planted by streams of water, unafraid of drought because their roots reach deep into the source of life. The sleeper may appear outwardly at peace, but in reality, they are unsettled, clinging to fragile things. They have nothing solid, so when storms come, they collapse quickly. The watches are different. They know trials are part of the journey, and in the end, light prevails. Beloved soul, watchfulness itself becomes a living testimony to others. This world longs to see people who truly stand firm in truth. Many are weary of empty words. They need to see a life genuinely transformed. When you are watchful, your life becomes the most powerful sermon. People will see how you walk, how you face trials, how you remain faithful, and they will recognize a strength beyond human effort sustaining you. They will be curious, they will ask, and you will have the chance to point them to the source of light. Thus, your watchfulness does not only bless you, but becomes the doorway of salvation for many others. My child, remember that watchfulness is not a burden. It is not a life of constant strain or worry. It is a privilege. It gives you the opportunity to take part in my great plan. It makes you a part of a story far greater than yourself. You are called to stand in the light, to keep the lamp burning, to be a watchman in the night. That is an honor, not a burden. And when the new day dawns, when the light fully drives away the darkness, you will know that every moment of vigilance was worth it. Therefore, endure to the end. Do not let your eyes drift from the goal. Do not let your ears be filled with the noise of the world. Do not let your heart grow hardened by lies. Be steadfast. Keep your lamp burning. Remember that glory awaits, the reward is ready, and the one who called you will never fail you. As Revelation 3:1-1 says, "Hold fast what you have so that no one may seize your crown." This is both a promise and a warning. Stay watchful. Hold firm, so that on the final day you may hear the sweet words, "You have overcome. Enter into the joy of your Lord." The journey of watchfulness is not a path lined with roses. You have entered a battle, and in that battle you will face trials. Do not be surprised when storms rise, when you hear voices of opposition, when it feels as though everything turns against you. None of this is to destroy you, but to strengthen you, to train your soul to become steadfast. Remember that gold is purified only through fire, and faith becomes firm only through trial. As Scripture says, the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. James 1:3-4. Thus trials are not signs of abandonment, but proof that you are being prepared for something greater. My child, darkness will not let you leave it easily. It will rise up fiercely when it sees you stepping into the light. It will create circumstances that make you question your choice. It will whisper that you chose the wrong path, that you are bringing suffering upon yourself. It will use those you love to test your faithfulness. It will raise walls that seem impossible to climb. But do not let these things discourage you, for it is in such moments of testing that you will see more clearly the true strength within you. That strength does not come from your own will, but from me, the one who has laid my hand upon your life. You do not have to stand alone, for I have promised, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 1:2-9. Do you see? It is precisely when you feel weakest that my power shines most clearly. Beloved soul, I want you to change the way you view trials. Do not see them as signs of failure, but as opportunities for growth. Just as soldiers train hard before the battlefield, enduring sweat and blood, so they can stand firm in war, so it is with you. The days you now endure are not meant to kill you, but to shape you into a warrior of light. As you overcome each trial, you will find yourself stronger, deeper, and more able to lift others. You will become one who can say, I have been through it, and I know the one who kept me will also keep you. Your wounds, once healed, will become living testimonies for many, and your perseverance in the fire will become a light to guide those trembling in the dark. Remember, no trial is wasted. Every tear, every long night, every word of opposition you hear is seen and remembered by the Creator. I will not waste your pain. I turn it into precious stones, into the foundation that builds you into one who is steadfast. And on the appointed day you will look back and see that what once seemed a burden was truly the stepping stone that carried you to where I wanted you to be. As Psalm 6:6-10, the 12th of December layers, for you, O God, tested us. You refined us like silver. You brought us into prison and laid burdens on our backs, but you brought us to a place of abundance. Do you see, trials do not end in captivity, but in abundance. They do not end in loss, but in fullness. Therefore, when you face trials, do not panic. Remember, they are part of the journey. Stand firm, for you are not alone. All of heaven watches, and the one who called you walks beside you. Let trials become the opportunity for you to shine brighter, to prove that light cannot be extinguished by darkness. And when you endure to the end, you will receive the crown of life, the reward prepared for those who do not give up. My child, I want you to learn to see trials with new eyes. Do not let them drag you into fear, but view them as a spiritual classroom where every lesson shapes your soul. When a seed is planted in the ground, it cannot become a tree unless it endures being buried, covered in the darkness of the soil. But it is in that darkness that life pushes forth roots, dig deep, and sprouts begin to rise. So it is with you. The days you feel buried, forgotten, may be the very days I am secretly nurturing and preparing you for a stronger rising. If you give up in the middle of the process, you will never see the day when you break through the soil full of life and bearing fruit. My child, I know there are times when trials leave you exhausted. You pray, yet no answer seems to come. You wait, yet the door remains shut. You cry out, yet only silence returns. In those moments the enemy whispers, "Do you see? You have been abandoned." No one is listening to you, but that is a lie. My silence never means my absence. Often it is in the silence that I am working more than ever, laying foundations for what you cannot yet see. Like roots growing deep in the soil, hidden, unseen, yet determining the strength of the tree when it rises, do not mistake silence for abandonment. Believe that I am working for you, even when your eyes do not yet see. Precious soul, the greatest danger in trials is not the outward difficulties, but the inward surrender. The storms outside may rage, but if your heart clings firmly to faith, you will stand. On the other hand, if you yield within even before outward trouble comes, you will surely fall. That is why I remind you, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:2-3. When you guard your heart, you preserve your path. When you guard your heart, you will not let trials swallow you whole. And when you guard your heart, you will find strength to go on even when everything around you seems to collapse. My child, I know that often you feel too weak to endure. But remember, strength does not come from you, but from the one who promised to uphold you. Paul went through countless hardships, yet he could still say, I can do all things through him who gives me strength. Philippians 4:1-3. This is no empty slogan, but a living testimony. You too can experience this if you stop relying on your own strength and learn to lay your burdens upon me. The weaker you are, the more my strength is revealed. The more helpless you feel, the more my power is displayed. The question is not whether you are strong enough, but whether you will lean on the one who is strong enough for you. My child, the deeper meaning of trials is transformation. You are not merely kept from falling, you are being shaped into something new. Every trial you overcome does not just make you stronger, it makes you a vessel fit to strengthen others. A soul that has never suffered struggles to comfort those who suffer. But a soul that has walked through fire, that knows the taste of tears, carries words of comfort that ring true for others. This is why your trials are not only for you, but also to prepare you for a greater mission. As Paul wrote, He comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. 2 Corinthians 1:4. Do you see? From your pain will spring forth the fruit of encouragement for many others. Therefore, beloved souls, do not fear when trials come. Do not see them as enemies, but as stern teachers. They do not come to destroy you, but to shape you. They do not come to take away, but to give back more. When you look with spiritual eyes, you will see trials as the skilled hand chiseling, shaping you into a more complete work of art. And when you endure to the end, you will receive a reward no one can take away. As Revelation 2:1-0 declares, Be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. That is a promise sure and unchanging, beloved soul. When trials reach their peak, darkness rises with greater fury than ever. It will not retreat simply because you have endured for a long time. Instead, it will muster all its strength to make you fall right at the threshold of victory. That is why so many walk most of the way yet stop just before the finish. They believe they cannot bear any longer, when in truth just a little more perseverance would have brought them into glory. My child, I do not want you to be among them. I want you to understand that the hardest days often signal that victory is near. When the night is darkest, dawn is about to break. When the storm blows fiercest, it is a sign it will soon pass. Therefore, do not give up when you feel most weary. It is then that your faith is being tested by fire to prove its worth. Remember, every trial has its limit. The Creator never allows darkness to go beyond your strength. I know precisely how much you can bear, and I weigh every burden placed on your shoulders. Paul wrote, God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. 1 Corinthians 1:0-1-3. My child, this is an unchanging promise. Even when you feel drained, you can trust that I, the maker of heaven and earth, am holding your hand. I will not allow you to be crushed beyond measure. I will open a way, I will give strength, I will grant courage, and you will overcome it. The peak of trial is also the opportunity for you to prove the reality of your love. When all is favorable, keeping faith is easy. But when storms rise, when darkness covers, when those around you turn away, that is when your love and faith are truly tested. It is in such moments that the command, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength," Deuteronomy 6:5 comes alive. If you still choose to remain faithful, when you have nothing left to cling to but my promises, then your faith is more precious than gold refined by fire. And when it is revealed, it will result in praise, glory, and honor. 1 Peter 1:7. That is why trials are not signs of failure, but evidence that you belong to the light. My child, lift your eyes forward to the reward that awaits. Trials do not last forever. They are but a season in the journey, and that season will pass. When you emerge, you will find yourself transformed, stronger, more mature, shining brighter. You will realize that not one tear was wasted. They were seeds sown, and I, the Creator, will cause them to bring forth a harvest of blessing. Those who sow in tears shall reap with songs of joy. Psalm 126:5. Do you see today's trial is the guarantee of tomorrow's joy? Do not fix your gaze only on present pain. Look to the glory that is coming. I know there are moments when you feel you are walking on your last breath. But remember, even when you no longer have strength to hold tightly to me, I still hold tightly to you. The one who began a good work in you will not leave it unfinished. I will carry it to completion until the final day. Philippians 1:6. So do not give up. Do not turn back. Do not let the final stretch of trial deceive you into thinking you have failed. In truth, it is when you endure just one more step that the door of glory opens. And in that moment you will see that everything you endured was worth it. Do not fear the darkness, for light is coming. Do not fear the trial, for it is only the stepping stone to victory. Do not be deceived into thinking your pain is meaningless. Every tear is gathered into my bottle. Every sigh is heard, and every trial is building for you an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison. 2 Corinthians 4:17. So lift up your head, precious soul. Walk forward with the confidence that trials do not define you. They prepare you for the glory to come. Beloved soul, after long days of trial, after nights that seemed without escape, now a new season is dawning. Do not think all that you endured was random or meaningless. No, my child, every tear, every trembling step, every prayer whispered into silence, each has been recorded. None has been wasted. They are seeds planted in the soil, and now those seeds are beginning to break forth. Can you sense it? Even amid weariness, something new is stirring within you. It is the assurance that darkness does not have the final word. Dawn is breaking, and you are stepping into a season of fulfillment. My child, the wonder of this journey is this: in the very moments when you thought you were at your end, I was laying the foundation for transformation. Like a woman laboring in birth pains who then erupts with joy when her child gives its first cry, so it is with you. The pains you endured were not to destroy, but to bring forth something new. That is why Paul could say, "We know that the whole creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth, right up to the present time." Romans 8:2-2. The trial you passed through was the labor pangs of your soul, and now you are about to give birth to a new life, one more complete, more resilient, more prepared for the mission I have set before you. You are no longer the person you once were. What you endured has changed, you deepened, you strengthened you, and made you ready. This new season is unlike the ones you have passed. It is no longer a season of sowing in tears, but the beginning of reaping with joy. You have walked through barren fields, but now the early and later rains are falling. Picture the farmer who, after months of labor, sees the seed he planted sprout lush and green, and the fields bursting with fruit. That joy is incomparable, and so it will be with you. You will see that none of your pain was wasted. Those who sow in tears shall reap with songs of joy. Psalm 1:2-6-5. These are no longer distant words, but living reality you will taste. Your tears will become the stream that waters a harvest of blessings. My child, stepping into a new season does not mean you will never face trials again. The difference is this: now you walk not with the posture of the defeated, but with the stance of the victor. You no longer tremble before darkness, you have learned to face it with light. You are no longer easily swayed, for you have been through the fire and still stand. You have been refined, and your endurance has become the proof that darkness can no longer accuse you. Now you walk with spiritual confidence, knowing to whom you belong and who walks with you. You may still face headwinds, but your sail is stronger now, ready to carry you through storms to the shore of fulfillment. My child, what you are stepping into is not a small reward, but a revelation of glory. I did not preserve you through the darkest nights, so you would remain in fear, but so you would become living proof that light is greater than darkness. Just as Joseph, after years of slavery, false accusation, and imprisonment, finally stood and declared to his brothers, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Genesis 5:0-20. Do you see what seemed like failure was in fact the stepping stone to fulfillment? And so it is with you. What you endured was not to destroy, but to lead you to the place I have promised. So, my child, open your heart to embrace this new season. Do not carry the old burdens. Do not let the pain of the past hold back your steps. You cannot walk through a new door if you are still clinging to the ones that have already closed. Let go. Believe that what has passed was only preparation. Allow the light to shine in, to heal, to renew, and to make you stronger. This is the season of restoration, the season of revelation, the season of complete joy. And you will see that I, the Creator, have never forgotten a single promise. Beloved soul, as you step into this new season, I want you to remember that this is not merely a reward for you to enjoy alone. Light is never given for one person to keep, but to shine upon all those around. You have endured trials. You have been delivered. You have seen darkness pushed back. Now, you are entrusted to rise as a lamp set on high that others may see and find their way. I never allow a soul to pass through hardship without purpose. I intend to make your very life a living testimony for those still wandering. Like a lighthouse in the night sea, the light of your life will guide lost vessels to a safe harbor. My child, do not think your victory is only for your own joy. It is also that others may see and be encouraged. Countless souls are watching you, waiting to see how you will walk in this new season. They saw your tears, they saw your struggles, and now they must also see you rise in glory. When they see you standing firm, they will believe they too can overcome it. When they see you restored, they will believe restoration can come to them as well. In this way, your awakening becomes a wave that spreads, touching lives you may never meet. Precious soul, but for that light to keep shining, you must guard it daily. Do not think that because you won once, you will never face another trial. Darkness still lurks, and it knows that if it can extinguish your light, many other lamps will go out with it. That is why you must be more watchful than ever. Keep the fire in your heart nourished by the living word. Pray, seek, and remain humble, never thinking you have already reached the end. As Paul once said, "Not that I have already obtained all this or have already arrived at my goal, but I press on to take hold of that for which Christ Jesus took hold of me." Philippians 3:1-2. The awakened always know the journey continues and they must press forward. My child, this new season also carries greater responsibility. When I bless you, I want you to become a channel of blessing for others. When I open a door for you, I want you to lead others through it. When I place a crown of victory on your head, I want you to pass on that hope to the generations to come. You are not to keep the light for yourself alone, for light only shines fully when it is shared. Remember the words of Jesus, "You are the light of the world." A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. Matthew 5:1-4-15. Your life now is that lamp. Do not let it be hidden. Do not let it grow dim. This responsibility is not meant to frighten you, but to help you see the honor of your calling. Entrusting you with a part in my work means I see in you what you may not yet see in yourself. I know you may stumble, but I also know you can rise. I know you may grow weary, but I also know you can become a source of encouragement. As you walk into this new season, always remember, you are not living for yourself alone, but for the many souls who will find salvation through your light. My child, this also means you must be wise not to repeat old mistakes. Many, after stepping into victory, become careless, thinking they can never fall again. At that very moment, they become vulnerable to the subtle trap of pride. Do not be like them. Stay humble. Remember that everything you have comes from the Creator. It was I who brought you out of darkness, who sustained you in trial, who lifted you when you nearly collapsed. Therefore give glory to me and walk in reverence. As Psalm 115:1 says, "Not to us, Lord, not to us, but to your name be the glory, because of your love and faithfulness." When you keep that heart, your light will never go out, for it is fueled by the eternal flame. So then, precious soul, receive your mission in this new season. Become a voice of hope, a lamp of truth, a hand that lifts the weak. Live a life not only for your own preservation, but as a path for many others. That is why you were preserved, that is why you were delivered, and that is why you now stand in the light. Now you have walked through the long journey of trial, awakening, and new vision. I want you to pause and look back at all you have endured. You once thought darkness would drown you, yet here you stand. You once felt utterly alone, yet you were never abandoned. You once doubted your worth, but now you know you were created for a higher purpose. My child, that is why I call you to walk boldly. You are no longer a captive. The chains are broken. The prison doors are open. The light is shining, and all you must do is step out. Do not let fear hold you back. Do not let old whispers pull you down. The new day has come, and you are invited to live in it. My child, engrave this truth deep within your heart. You are loved unconditionally. This love does not depend on your achievements, nor does it rest upon your perfection. It is anchored in the eternal covenant established by the Creator through my very kindness. No matter how many times you fall, I will still reach out my hand to lift you. No matter how far you wander, I will still call your name to bring you home. This love is the firmest foundation upon which you can build your life. Do not seek recognition from the world, for it changes with the seasons. Hold fast instead to the love that never changes, the love that has kept you until this very day. As Romans 8:3-8:39 declares, "For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor rulers, neither things present nor things to come, nor powers, neither height nor depth nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God." This is your guarantee. No power can ever take away this love. Beloved soul, I know you may still carry questions. Will I be strong enough to endure to the end? Can I truly live wholly in the light? I want you to know, the answer does not lie in your ability, but in the faithfulness of the one who walks with you. It is I who will sustain you. It is I who will give you strength. It is I who will complete the work that has begun. You are not left to steer your own vessel across the sea, for I have promised to be the captain who brings you safely to shore. All you must do is trust and take each step in obedience. Every small step you take is seen by me, and I will turn it into a great stride on your journey. Now is the time for you to choose with finality. You cannot stand in the light while still clutching the darkness. You cannot move forward while constantly looking back. You were not born to live half-heartedly. You were created to stand tall, to fight to shine. Do not let the enemy's voice cause you to hesitate. He will tell you that you are not ready, that you are too weak. Yet it is in weakness that my strength is made perfect. He will whisper that you are unworthy, but you need not make yourself worthy, for I have justified you. He will say you cannot change, but you have already seen the change has begun, and it will continue until completion. So what reason remains for delay? Rise up, my child, and declare to your own heart, I will walk into the light. I will not return to the darkness. I will endure to the very end. When you proclaim, this darkness trembles, for it knows its grip on you is broken. When you choose light, you not only bring freedom to yourself, but open a way for many other souls. The light within you will spread, and no darkness will be able to stop it. This is no longer just a personal journey, but a divine calling for you to be a witness of love and truth. And when you finish the course, the reward awaiting you will be beyond comparison. As Revelation 2:1-4 promises, He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. This is the vision that awaits you, eternal life and glory. I leave you with this final call. Take hold of the hand of the one who has called you. Let the light swallow the darkness. Walk in the freedom purchased at so great a price. The moment is no longer distant. The hour has come. This is the time for you to awaken, to rise, to step into the new season with all courage. You have been called, you have been chosen, and you are not forgotten. So rise, precious soul, and walk in the eternal light. Thank you for listening to today's message. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so together we may receive the living word to build unshakable faith and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.